What if I told you that over a third of all US adults say Instagram is the platform they're most likely to shop on? Not TikTok, not Pinterest, Instagram. And for jewelry brands specifically, that number matters a lot. Hey everyone! I'm June with Branvas, and in this video, I'm breaking down 10 Instagram content ideas for jewelry brands that actually drive engagement and sales in 2025 and 2026. Whether you're just starting your jewelry brand or you're already posting and wondering why things aren't clicking, this is for you. We're covering 10 proven content formats, a flywheel framework to tie them all together, common mistakes to avoid, and the mindset shift that separates the brands that grow from the ones that stall. Let's get into it. All right, before we get into the actual content formats, let's talk about why Instagram is still the place to be for jewelry brands in 2025 and beyond. Here's the stat that should stop you in your tracks. 37% of US adults say Instagram is the platform they're most likely to shop on. That puts it ahead of TikTok, ahead of Pinterest, for a visual category like jewelry, where aesthetics, craftsmanship, and emotion are what drive people to buy. Instagram is just a natural fit. But here's the thing that most brands miss. Instagram isn't just one tool, it's a whole toolkit. You've got Reels, Stories, Lives, Carousels, and product tags. And each one serves a different purpose in the buyer's journey. A Reel pulls in someone who's never heard of you. A story poll keeps your existing followers engaged. A product tag post makes it dead simple to buy. The brands that win on Instagram aren't the ones with the biggest budgets or the most followers. They're the ones using all of these formats strategically and consistently. So, stick with me on this, because what we're going to walk through today is exactly how to do that. Okay, let's kick things off with one of the most powerful formats out there right now, the workshop reel. The idea is simple. You document the creation of a piece of jewelry from raw materials or a rough sketch all the way to the finished, polished product. But here's what makes it more than just a pretty process video. It's a story about craftsmanship. Why does this work so well? Because behind-the-scenes content builds a connection that a straight product shot never can. When someone sees the skill and effort that goes into a piece, the perceived value goes way up. And on the distribution side, reels are being reshared over 4.5 billion times per day. That's not a typo. Shares are one of Instagram's top engagement signals right now. Now, the make or break moment with any reel is the first 3 seconds. Instagram's algorithm is basically asking, is this worth showing to more people? And it answers that question based on how many viewers stay, comment, and share. So your opening shot has to stop the scroll. Here's how to execute it. Start with something visually dramatic, a close-up of a raw gemstone, a torch flame, a hammer hitting metal. Then move through 3 to 5 key steps, sketching, shaping, setting the stone, polishing. And close with a beautiful reveal, the finished piece on a model's hand or in a styled flat lay. A worked example, open with a rough, uncut gemstone and a text overlay that says, "How is a ring really made?" Cut through the process fast, close with the finished ring sparkling and the words, "From our hands to yours." That's a reel that stops scrolls and earns shares. All right, next up is a format that's quietly one of the best performing types of content on the whole platform. The styling carousel. The concept, take one piece of jewelry and show it styled 3 different ways. For work, for a casual weekend, for a night out. Here's why this is so effective. You're not just showing a product, you're helping your customer picture themselves actually wearing it. That's the mental leap that turns a browser into a buyer. And carousels are doing serious numbers right now. One study found carousel posts average a 10% engagement rate compared to 7% for single images and 6% for reels. The swiping action keeps people on your post longer, which tells the algorithm your content is worth pushing out to more people. How do you build one? Slide 1 is your hero shot, a beautiful image of the piece with a title like 1 necklace, 3 looks. Then you've got 3 styled images, 1 per look. And the final slide, a simple graphic that asks, which look is your favorite, and directs people to the link in your bio. Here's a quick example. Slide 1, a delicate gold necklace on a clean background. Then you see it with a blazer, work look done, a knit sweater, casual and cozy, a black dress, evening ready. Final slide, shop the link in bio. Clean, versatile, engaging. That's the styling carousel. Okay, here's where it gets really good. User-generated content. Specifically, the UGC Repost with a story. This is more than just sharing a customer's photo. It's about celebrating your community and letting real people do the selling for you. The numbers on this are hard to ignore. Over 90% of consumers say they factor in user-generated content when making a purchase decision. Think about that. Your customer's photo, taken on their phone, unfiltered, just living their life in your jewelry, is more persuasive to most people than your best product shot. When you share a customer's story, you're not just building social proof. You're saying, these are real people who love what we make. That kind of authenticity is something no ad budget can manufacture. Here's how to do it right. Regularly check your tags and mentions. When you find a great photo, send a DM asking for permission to share. Always. Then ask them one simple question. What was the occasion? Or, what do you love most about your piece? Use their answer to write a caption that tells their story, not just a product description. Real example. A customer shares a photo wearing your pearl drop earrings on her wedding day. Your caption could read, "We were so honored to be a small part of Sarah's big day. Thank you for sharing this beautiful moment with us." Tag her, keep it genuine, and let the emotion do the work. Now let's talk about a format that a lot of brands shy away from because it feels scary. The Ask Me Anything Instagram Live. Here's the deal. Instagram Live puts a real face behind your brand, and in a world of perfectly curated feeds, that authenticity is genuinely rare. Live shopping events convert at anywhere from 9% to 30%. Compare that to a typical e-commerce conversion rate of 2 to 3%, and you start to see why this format is worth getting comfortable with. When someone shows up to your live and asks a question in real time, and you answer them by name, that's a relationship. And relationships close sales. Here's how to set it up for success. Announce your live 24 to 48 hours ahead. Use a stories graphic and a countdown sticker. Collect questions in advance using the question sticker in stories, so you're not starting from a blank slate. During the live, greet people by name as they join. Answer pre-collected questions first, then open it up to live chat. Around the 20-minute mark, try announcing a limited time perk just for live viewers. Something like free shipping for the next hour. The key is to make it feel like a conversation, not a presentation. You're not performing. You're just talking to people who already like your jewelry. All right, let's talk about one of the fastest ways to grow your audience without spending a dollar on ads. The Collab post. Instagram's Collab feature lets you partner with another brand so that a single post shows up on both of your profiles. You're instantly tapping into their audience, and they're tapping into yours. You can now add up to 5 collaborators per post, which opens the door to some really creative multi-brand campaigns. The key word here is complementary. You want a brand that shares your aesthetic and your target audience, but isn't competing with you directly. Think a sustainable clothing boutique, a wedding photographer, a beauty brand, a candle company, brands where the overlap feels natural. How do you find them? Start by making a list of brands you genuinely admire that feel aligned with your vibe. Look for similar audience sizes and solid engagement rates. You want a partner who actually talks to their followers. Then reach out with a simple, specific idea. A joint giveaway or a styled lookbook post is a great starting point. Here's a quick example. A jewelry brand partners with a clothing boutique for a giveaway. The post features a model in the boutique's dress wearing the jewelry brand's necklace. The caption promotes both brands and invites followers to enter by following both accounts and tagging a friend. Simple, reach extending, and genuinely useful for both sides. Here's a content type that's consistently underrated. The educational post. We're talking simple, practical tips. How to clean your silver jewelry. How to store your necklaces so they don't tangle. What to avoid if you want your pieces to last. This stuff. Why does it work? Because educational content gets saved. And saves are gold on Instagram. When someone saves your post, they're essentially bookmarking your brand for later. And that signals to the algorithm that your content has real value. This kind of content also positions you as a trusted expert, not just a seller. That's the difference between someone who follows you and someone who buys from you repeatedly. The format that works best here is usually a carousel or a short reel. The trick is to focus on one specific topic per post. Don't try to cover everything. Go deep on one thing. How to clean your silver jewelry. 5 ways to store your necklaces without tangling. Specific beats, general every time. Keep the copy concise. Use great visuals. And always, always end with, "Save this post for later." That one call to action can meaningfully move your save rate. A 5-slide carousel walking through gentle cleaning, proper storage, and what chemicals to avoid, ending with a save prompt, is the kind of post that just keeps working for you long after you've published it. Okay, let's get personal for a second, because this next format is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brand long term. It's the Meet the Maker story. People don't connect with products. They connect with people. And for a jewelry brand, especially one where the founder's passion and story are baked into every piece, this is your competitive advantage. When someone follows your account, they're not just following your jewelry, they're following you. They want to know who made this, why they started, what drives them. When you share that story authentically, you're creating an emotional connection that no ad can replicate. Here's how to approach it. Be real. Share the actual story. The kitchen table where you started, the moment you knew this was what you were supposed to be doing, the challenges you hit along the way. Use a warm, genuine photo of yourself in your creative space. Write a caption that tells your origin story, your mission, and what makes your brand different. A worked example. A photo of the founder smiling in her workshop, surrounded by tools and materials. And the caption reads something like, "I started making jewelry at my kitchen table 5 years ago with a simple dream, to create beautiful pieces that make women feel confident. Every piece is still made by hand, right here in my little studio. Thank you for being part of this journey." That's the kind of post that gets saved and shared, and that builds the kind of loyal community that actually buys. All right, let's talk about something that takes maybe 5 minutes to create, but does a lot of heavy lifting for your engagement. The interactive story poll. The concept is exactly what it sounds like. You use Instagram's interactive stickers, polls, quizzes, sliders to get your followers involved. Ask them to vote on their favorite of 2 new designs. Quiz them on a gemstones meaning. Let them weigh in on what collection you should drop next. Here's why this matters beyond just being fun. Interactive stickers are one of the most efficient ways to boost your story engagement. And when your story gets high engagement, Instagram shows it to more people. It's a simple signal. Your followers are paying attention. But there's another benefit that's easy to miss. The data. When your most engaged followers tell you they prefer the crescent moon design over the starburst, that's free market research. That's your audience literally telling you what to make next. The execution is simple. Ask a clear question, 2 distinct options, beautiful photo or clean graphic as the background. And here's the move most brands skip. Close the loop. Post the results 24 hours later. You voted, and the starburst won, dropping next week. It shows your audience that their input actually matters to you. That's community building. Okay, here's one that I think is genuinely one of the most underutilized sales channels for small jewelry brands right now. The DM to sale flow. Let's be clear about what this is not. This is not sliding into people's DMs with unsolicited sales pitches. That's the opposite of what we're talking about. What we're talking about is treating your DM inbox as a one-on-one customer service channel, because that's exactly what it is. When someone DMs you after seeing your post, they are telling you they're interested. That's a warm lead. And a thoughtful, personal response can be the difference between losing that person and gaining a loyal customer. Here's how to make it work. In your posts and stories, actively invite questions. Say things like, "DM me if you want help styling this," or "Have questions? Drop me a message." Then respond within a few hours. Use their name, answer their actual question, and offer personalized advice rather than just dropping a product link. A quick example, someone DMs asking if a gold chain necklace is heavy. A great response isn't just, "No, it's lightweight, here's the link." It's, "Hey Sarah, it's actually really light, designed for everyday wear. Are you looking for something for a specific occasion?" That question opens a conversation. The conversation builds trust. The trust closes the sale. Your DM inbox isn't just a message center, it's a revenue channel. All right, last of the 10 formats, and this one is all about removing friction from the buying process. The product tagging post. If you're not using Instagram's product tagging feature, you're leaving sales on the table. Full stop. Here's how it works. You tag the specific pieces in your post with their names and prices. A small shopping bag icon appears. Viewers tap it, see the product details, and click straight through to your website. That's the whole path from discovery to purchase, without them ever having to leave the app to go searching. This isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. You can tag products in Reels, Stories, and Lives, which means every piece of content you create is a potential point of sale. You're turning your entire Instagram presence into a shoppable storefront. To get this set up, you'll need to connect a Facebook catalog to your Instagram business or creator account. Once that's done, tagging is easy. Just don't tag more than 1 to 3 pieces per post, or it gets cluttered. The content itself still needs to be compelling. A beautiful lifestyle image, a styled flat lay, a natural-looking reel. The product tags make it easy to buy, but great visuals are still what make people want to buy. Think a Sunday morning flat lay, necklace, earrings, a book, a coffee cup. Both pieces tagged. Caption reads, "Sunday morning essentials, tap to shop." Simple, warm, and completely shoppable. Okay, now that we've covered all 10 formats, I want to show you how they all fit together. Because when you look at them as a system instead of a list, everything starts to compound. At Branvas, we call this the Jewelry Content Flywheel. And the idea is pretty simple. Instead of thinking about each post as a one-off thing, you think about creating a self-sustaining cycle. Attract, engage, convert, and then repeat. Here's how it breaks down. The first pillar is attract. That's your top-of-funnel content. These are the posts that reach people who've never heard of you. Workshop reels, styling carousels, collab posts, content that's shareable and visually compelling enough to pull in new audiences. The second pillar is engage. Once someone finds you, you need to build a relationship before you ask for a sale. This is your Ask Me Anything lives, your Meet the Maker stories, your interactive polls. Content that builds trust and shows the human side of your brand. The third pillar is convert.